Hey friends, it's Lux. Welcome back to another episode of Lux Unfiltered. Today, I want to talk about something that's been sitting heavy on my heart. Trust. Trusting people who didn't deserve it. Trusting people who showed me who they were only after they took what they needed. And how, even though it's left a mark, I'm learning that it doesn't always make me weak. It just means that I had an open heart. For a long time, I carried shame around trusting the wrong people. I'd ask myself, why didn't I see this coming? What's wrong with me? But the truth is, trusting people doesn't make us bad. It doesn't mean we're clueless or naive. It means we were open, honest, wanting connection. And if someone used that against us, well, that says more about them than it does about us. I used to be an all-in friend. You know the type, gifting everything, doing everything, throwing my whole self into a friendship because I wanted to be seen as worthy. I thought if I could be the best friend ever, no one would leave. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back now, it was a manipulation tactic. Not because I was trying to hurt anyone or manipulate anyone into staying, but because I was trying to keep myself from being abandoned. I'd trust people immediately. And I think, oh, well, they'll be like me, loyal, loving, a ride or die friend. But not everyone is like me. And I'd end up feeling used. The second I wasn't useful, or when my undiagnosed autism, ADHD, or mental health stuff flared up, I became a burden, a liability, betrayable. I can't tell you how many times I've been ghosted or exiled by people I thought were my lifelong friends. No warning, no conversation, just gone. And let me tell you, the way that hits me physically, it's intense. My skin goes cold and clammy, and there's a lump in my throat and a pit in my stomach, and my whole body is hot, but my skin is freezing. It's that feeling of, oh, it's happening again. It's anger, disappointment, shame, all of it swirling together like a cold storm in my gut. That's the thing, right? These experiences taught me it's not about never trusting again. It's about trusting differently, rebuilding trust, starting with myself. Reparenting myself has been about learning the things I wasn't taught as a kid, like how to set boundaries, how to listen to my gut, how to protect my peace. I wasn't taught how to spot the red flags, and I didn't know how to ask for what I needed. So I'd either overgive or completely shut down just to make myself smaller. And making myself smaller has never been something I'm good at. I've had to teach myself to find balance, to show up for people in ways that honor them, but also honor me. And let's be real, some days I need a little bit of help to slow down and breathe when my nervous system is buzzing. So I reach for my balm or my candies or a bestie. And those little rituals really ground me. It helps me reconnect with my body and remember I am safe, I'm here, and I'm enough. It took me a long time to see the pattern. I kept thinking, why does this keep happening to me? What is it? Like, what have I been doing? But the truth is, I had to look at the way I was showing up in these friendships too. I wasn't just this innocent bystander that things kept happening to. I was playing a part. And I'd show up in ways that were honestly a breach of boundaries. I was giving too much too soon, not checking in to see if the other person was even comfortable with that level of closeness. And you know what? That's not fair to them either. That's kind of like love bombing. Even though the intent is completely different, the outcome is the same. And when I realized that, it was a punch in the gut. I was like, oh, shit, I've been part of the problem. And I think that's also where the growth starts, because now I can see it. Now I can take accountability and I can show up in friendships with more care and awareness. And it's not about blaming myself or others. It's about understanding that I deserve to take up space as I am without overcompensating or bending myself into shapes I don't fit. And it's also about trusting myself enough to believe that the right people will want me as I am, not as some performative version of me. And there's this thing I've noticed. My body will always tell me when something is off. That cold skin, the tight throat, my buzzing panic in the gut. That's my body saying, hey, Lux, this isn't it. You're not safe here. And I used to ignore those signs. I'd override them because I wanted the friendship to work so badly. But now I try to listen. I try to slow down and check in with myself. Like, is this person really showing up for me, or am I just filling a role? Here's what I keep coming back to. I am allowed to grow. I'm allowed to outgrow people. And I'm allowed to forgive myself for not knowing what I didn't know. Healing isn't about shutting people out. It's about keeping your heart open while learning how to protect your energy. And it's not easy. And it's definitely not linear. Trust me on that one. But it's happening. And if you're like me and you need a gentle nudge or 5 or a blunt hit to the forehead, that I run a CBD company and actually have things that can help me with my own anxiety, maybe you can try a cup of Lux CBD tea. It's kind of like a warm hug in a cup. It's one of those rituals that help me come back to myself, even though the world feels super overwhelming. But I do need to be reminded to do it because I like a spiral. One mantra that's been helping me in this is, I don't have to fix things for other people to be worthy of love. Let me say that again for both of us. I do not have to fix things for others to be worthy of love. Friendships isn't 50-50 all the time, but it should be close. You shouldn't be the only one showing up. And I've learned that the best friendships are the ones where both people are invested, not just in what they get, but in how they show up for each other. To be a good friend, you have to respect how the other person wants to be supported, not just what you think is supportive. You have to meet them where they're at, and they have to meet you there too. And that's why I'm careful now. I don't want to count what I give, but I also don't want to abandon myself by giving too much. And that's a hard line to walk, especially when you've been conditioned to overgive to avoid being abandoned. But it's worth it. When you've been betrayed, there's this temptation to shut down completely, or worse, get desperate and cling to anyone who will give you a scrap of attention. I've been there. I've abandoned myself trying to prove I'm worthy of loving. But that's not the move. We're not here to beg for scraps. We're here to build something real, to learn how to show up for ourselves and for the people to show up for us. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, God, I feel this too, you're not alone. Healing from toxic friendships or relationships is messy, and it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but it's also beautiful. Because every time you choose to keep going, to keep your heart open when it's been bruised, you're showing yourself that you're worth the effort. You're worth the love. You are worth the healing. And look, I don't have all the answers, even though I love to sound like I do. I'm figuring this out right alongside you. But I do know this: vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. And every time we choose to be real, even if it means risking rejection, we're choosing to live more fully. So here's to learning how to trust again. Here's to reparenting ourselves, setting boundaries, staying open. Here's to knowing that the right people, the ones who see us as we are and love us for it, are worth waiting for. And hey, if you need a little support today, go treat yourself. A balm, a candy, or one of our starter packs, whatever feels like a tiny act of love for yourself. You're allowed to take up space and to take care of yourself. Thank you for being here with me today. If you feel like sharing your story, drop me a message or share a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're in the thick of healing right now, let me remind you, you're doing better than you think. We're in this together, always. Okay. Love you. Bye.